know, the most horrible.
Sir, yeah. Did you say that my daughter?
Yeah, I did. Show me the finger.
Well, I wouldn't have done that if he wasn't being a slow asshole.
Are you serious, Amelia? Well, listen. Whether she gave you the finger or not, then maybe you should have gotten out of her way.
Yeah, I know. I'm old. I'm kind of slow.
So that means that you get to tell her she's rude.
Well, she's rude. She's rude.
But she's not rude. She's only 7.
Well, I thought she was being rude.
But were you in her way?
Probably.
So don't you think that maybe you don't own the store just because you're driving a car? I think that you think all this is funny, and it's not funny, sir.
Well, I'm her elder, and she needs to show me a little respect.
Well, maybe you need to not think that you own the store because you're driving a car.
I'm sorry, we gotta call this out, right? It doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man, a father or a mother, right? This is terrible parenting, right? And the hypocrisy, saying that, oh, he doesn't own the store. So how is it in your way then? Because you don't own it. You don't own the store. No one's in your way. Just move out. Move the way. The continuous hypocrisy that it's like she said he has no right to call her child rude. Yet her child has a right to, one, stick the middle finger to this man, and then also call him an asshole. This is absolute disgusting parenting. A 7-year, my 12-year-old knows better than to curse. 12-year-old. So a 7? This is like absolute disgusting parenting right here. Absolutely disgusting. And this is the problem, right? Where we have kids, like, I don't know if you heard, like a while ago, where kids they beat to death an elderly person. And this happens a lot. There's no respect for the elder. And then you wonder why these kids also don't respect their parents. Because you teach them to not even respect their elders. Why would they respect their parents? Because you enable their disrespect towards people. So you'd be surprised that they have that disrespect towards you. It is absolutely insane. I'm sorry. Like, I know plenty of great mothers out there. But this is the thing where we're painting a one-sided picture and thinking that because it's a woman, because it's a mom, she's automatically a good parent. And that is BS. BS, because things like this. And we don't call it out enough. We don't call this out enough because we enable this. We assume women are angelic, so we don't call out the BS of a lot of women. Because I'm sorry, enabling women like this is why that kind of woman can enable her child to be so disrespectful, to be so toxic, already cursing, right? Already disrespectful at 7 is insane to me. I'm sorry. What has happened to teaching our kids morality, right? This is why, right? Where we're surprised that women become single moms because they themselves are immoral, or they themselves don't respect themselves nor they respect others, so they make bad decisions. And this is why I've said this countless times before. It don't matter about your gender, your orientation, even your race, right? There are good and bad people in everything, right? So that's why I think we just focus on morality, focus on character, right? Because this is BS. I don't prop up anybody, right? I don't make anyone holier than thou. No one's better than the other person, right? But this is the thing where we just forgot proper teachings of our kids. We did. And now I believe we are ruining the next generations. I think every subsequent generation is getting worse and worse. It is. You know, as a content creator of a particular kind of content, right? You wonder why I do it. It's that it is very tiring. It's exhausting to see the constant negativity. But this is a thing where it's always painted that way, in the sense that, again, I'm just scrolling my For You page. I know that they're designed for how you are, right? How you're viewing. But all I see is just blaming men, hating on men, blaming men. Both men and women are blaming men, hating on men continuously. And I'm just here just thinking about, like, you know what, why I persevere and make my content is that I believe the world is not about men are evil, women are good, right? Being a color of a different race is good. Being a color of a certain race is bad. I've always believed that no matter if you are white or black, a woman or a man, there are good and bad people in everything, in every demographic, in every group. Yet when we constantly paint just one particular group as the evil of evil, it gets tiring, because then you cannot see the hypocrisy of it. Because here's the thing, right? And I'm probably going to do a stitch and stuff like that, right? Where a woman says that, you know what, men are evil. They should be born into prison and work themselves out of prison. It's just, I'm going to say what I'm going to say on that video, but it's just the vitriol and disgusting of it, right? Because then you assume that women don't do anything evil. There's another video saying that we need to stop dating ugly men. And then the next image of that, right, is a woman it's like she's, I guess, a midget, deformed in a kind of way, right? Just not conventionally attractive. So the rhetoric of we need to stop dating ugly men, yet can you tell men that you need to stop dating ugly women? No. This is the thing, right? It is fine to have one-sided vitriol, one-sided toxicity, if that toxicity is towards men. That's the insanity that we are living in right now, where it is okay to be toxic, evil, cruel, if it's towards men. Yet, if it's reverse, then it's outrage. Then it's outrage. That's why I'm skirting the line. I'm not trying to be evil or toxic towards women, but I do want to show the hypocrisy, the insanity, right? The double standards, that it is okay to be terrible to men, be toxic towards men. Yet, if it's reverse, it is not, right? It is not allowed. It is a strike. It is, just I don't know. It's just then you wonder why, right? You wonder why that, because society allows continuous, right? And this is the thing, right? This is reality. We live, our reality is social media. A lot of us, right? It's just how it is, right? Let's not argue against reality. But this is the thing where if people are inundated, right, in your reality, on social media, where you ain't shit, right? Men are terrible, men are ugly, men are whatever. And then you realize that there's a lot of young men that are dejected, that feel hated by society. They may feel, and I don't condone violence and all that shit, but you can't wonder why. Where it's funny that we are sympathetic, empathetic towards LGBT, the alphabet peoples, they're mentally unstable or mentally hurt, right? Or mentally whatever. Yet again, if it's men, straight men, having mental problems, we don't see their mental problems. We see that they're just evil, they're violent. But we can't recognize that, you know what? Yes, the results is terrible, is not condoned, is not being supported. Yet we forget that, you know what? These young men have come to a point where they are mentally sick. And they act out in a certain way, but we don't recognize that they are they're mentally ill. We don't help it. We only contribute to it, right? We only contribute to it as a society. And I think that's tiring and sad. It doesn't help. It don't. It really doesn't. So, it doesn't help at all.
Whatever you do not feel sorry for this woman. This woman's name is Yoselin Ortega, and she was a nanny. She had been working for her current employer for 2 years, and she was not very happy. So she planned something that most of us can't even imagine. She was babysitting these 2 kids aged 2 and 6, and because she was so angry at their mother, she ended both their lives. And after she did, she put both their lifeless bodies into a bathtub and waited for the mother to come back home. And of course, when she did, the mother was absolutely floored and shocked as to what had happened. The nanny tried to kill herself by stabbing herself in the neck. You can actually see the wound right there, but she survived her injuries. During court, she said the reason she did what she did is because she wanted to see the mother's reaction to her slain kids.
That's weird. I thought she would say that it's men. Men are the problem. It's weird. Very weird.
15-year-old Tiana Brown moved into the Brooklyn apartment of Marva Braithwaite and her 16-year-old daughter Shannon. On September 30th, 2008, Brown and Shannon reportedly argued while Marva was out. Brown stabbed Shannon 49 times, killing her. Then, she spelled out the name Yusef on the refrigerator using magnets. After that, she grabbed clothes and a camera, took the shoes off Shannon's feet, and fled the scene. After Brown was away from the home, she called 911, pretended to be distraught, and told the operator that Shannon was stabbed by a man named Yusef.
Oh, she means fictional men. Fictional men, right? That's probably what it is. This is this is what I'm talking about, right? Automatically saying men are the problem, ignoring that it's just people. There are dangerous, there are toxic, there are evil people out there. No, men are the problem. Because just the 3 cases I shown you, right? You can look it up. They don't include men. They don't. Right? It's either women against women or women against kids. And yet, you blame men. How's that help? Where in all that? Where you want to put the blame on a man? Please tell me. Because this is the insanity, the hypocrisy of women. Where this is why women should not have platforms. Because again, now that they have power, they want to become the abusers. They want to become the abusers. Instead of, you know what? If you have the power, why not change and show equality? Be the better person. No. Let's not be the better person. Let's be the abuser. Because you're supposedly been the victim. Now you got to be the abuser, right? Because then I get comments that said, you know what, men that are evil are the norm, right? My view is the exception. So it's funny that, so you think that women that are criminal are the exception, and then women that are angelic, the norm? It's that way of thinking that led people to oppression, right? It's that way of thinking that you're better than others. That, no, men are evil, women are angels, right? It's that way of thinking that you're better than others. And I think that's sad, right? So it's like, instead of, you know what, being the better person, being the more morally sound person, promoting equality, no. Again, let me be the abuser. And let me create victims.
You need to stop dating ugly men. We're feeding into their delusions. They think they can pull every one of us now.
So I just left a restaurant after waiting 30 minutes for a date to show up. And apparently I got stood up. I don't know what to say. Like, I'm trying to do everything right to be a gentleman. I brought flowers. I've been consistent talking with this girl for 2 weeks, trying to get to know what she likes, what she doesn't like. I made plans. I picked the restaurant, the day and the time. I'm just looking for my person. I'm just looking for the one that I guess is out there for me. It shouldn't be this hard to find somebody. It shouldn't be this difficult to fall in love.
The biggest thing I hate about women is that, you know, that one Billie Eilish quote, she said,
"Give an ugly guy a chance, he thinks he rules the world."
That's it right there.
Okay.
You look at that statement, you see how invalid that is. As a young man coming up, you see how they're just trying to put you down, okay? You know, if the roles were reversed, this would be a cancelable offense for us.
Okay.
You understand that?
Okay.
So I think that, you know, there are double standards, okay? And we have to look at these. We don't let this shit slide.
Okay.
Pause, okay? We just have to realize that, like, if you're gonna say that about us, and you expect us to not say that about you, let's take a step back, let's look at the situation, all right?
I will always choose the bear, and men need to be born into prison and work their way out. You mean to tell me that a woman that was married to a man for 50 years, mind you, this lady like, what, 72, I want to say? She up in age. You mean to tell me that she was married to this man for 50 years, and over the last 10 years, he has been drugging her, and then finding random men on the web, you know what I'm saying? He found 72 men to R-word his wife. One of the men that the man found on the internet to R-word his wife has HIV. And he came, okay, in the woman 6 times. One of the other men was her neighbor that she's had plenty conversations with. They know each other, you know what I'm saying, having plenty platonic conversations. And even though he was friendly with the wife and friends with the wife, he still signed up to R-word this nice lady And why? And then, bitch, here's the kicker. The reason why the husband didn't do this to his teenage daughter is because she was not his type. And in all the cases that come out with men doing weird shit to women and children, y'all still think we making this shit up. Y'all still think the reason why we don't like these unhinged animals is because what they got in between their legs. No, they're all sick, deranged, and need to be put down like rabid dogs.
You know, it's just, you know, instead of saying that that's disgusting, that there are people like that, no, you point out that it's a man because it's a man. Here's the thing.
Mother sold her 17-month-old daughter to 6 men in exchange for money. Erica Lawson, 21, took her 17-month-old daughter, Aylina, to the hospital in Middlesbrough on July 28, where doctors detected DNA from 7 different men, but no signs.
Whatever you do not feel bad for this woman. This woman's name is Lovely Kristen Antoinette Johnson, and she had a 6-month-old baby. But one more thing is, she was a severe drug addict, and she would often invite friends over to her house or go to her friends' houses to do drugs. And when she would do this, she would just lock her son up in a car seat and leave him inside the house. And she would place him in the attic where she wouldn't be able to hear him. Well, on this particular occasion, the little baby went 4 days without any food and starved to death.
You know why I show these? And there's so many more, right? It's not to paint a picture that women are evil. No, it's to paint a picture that people, there are evil people out there. Regardless of your gender, your race, there's evil people out there. So would it be amazing of me that I say women need to be born into prison and work themselves out? Or even, I can say even more vitriol, toxic things about women, right? Instead of saying that there are evil people out there. That's it, right? It's like, this is the thing where I'm sorry, it's like women believe that if you are born a man, you are automatically evil. If you're born a woman, you are what? An angel, right? You're an angel. No, it's like we just put the connotation man, evil, women, an angel, right? That's how, and this is the thing where I hate this rhetoric, okay? That here's a woman that, yes, talked about a heinous case, but she attributes that heinous case to because he's a man. That's why. No, it's because he's just a terrible, terrible human being. Instead of just saying that this man, right, whether he's a man or not, is just a heinous human being. Because again, I showed you that there's women that are heinous human beings. So should I say the most visual things of women just because some women have done terrible things? A few women have done terrible things. Should I? No, because that's going to get me a strike, get outrage, get hate. But yet it's okay for women like this to say men are terrible and then show a case of a man being terrible. Instead of saying that, you know what, there are terrible people out there. That's it. There's terrible people. But no, it's just, we need to paint one-sided picture. Because it's always okay. It's always okay to say toxic, hateful, disgusting, deplorable things against men. It's always okay, right? On social media, it's okay. In person, it's okay. It's always okay. It's never okay to say anything bad against women or against people of other races or against people of certain orientation. But yet it's always okay to say shit about straight men. It's like, it's just, and I just hate that we paint that image of automatically, if you are a straight man, you are evil. Everything else we ignore. We don't recognize any evil act by other groups of people. Only if you're a straight man. And I just wanted to point the hypocrisy of that, the double standards, the delusions of it, right? Because here's the thing: I'm not condoning, people being evil, people being terrible. No, what I'm condoning is that, you know what? It's not the gender of the person that makes them evil or terrible. Right? It's not the race. It's not the orientation. It's the person. It's their character. It's the morality or lack thereof.
As president, I would charge men a tax for simply existing, and then I would use the funds to educate and liberate all of the women across the world that don't have the opportunities that I do.
And you wonder why no man is clamoring for a woman to become a president. Because here's the thing, this is feminism for you.
You don't want equality, you want power. Right? That's modern day wokeism. You don't want equality, you want power. You want power over the people that you think oppress you. And here's the insanity, right? So you would rather hurt you are a president, right? You would rather hurt your citizens and protect people that aren't your citizens. That's logical. That wouldn't, produce a coup d'etat, right? That wouldn't produce rebellion. You want to hurt your own citizens to care for people that don't even care about you. This is why, right? So I'm sorry, a lot of women don't really use logic, right? They get degrees, but they do a lot of things that really don't show intelligence. And this is the thing, I've talked to a lot of intelligent women, but I'm sorry, internet women, especially internet women, right? So I'm distinguishing. A lot of them, even though they have degrees, they're not very intelligent, because it's like you wonder why rebellions happen. You want to tax, hurt, and abuse your citizen, half of your population that you run, to care for a population that don't even know you, that didn't even vote for you, that didn't even care for you. Yeah, that makes sense. And again, this is what I always like to. This is what I just said, right? A lot of people, especially nowadays, right, when it comes to different races, genders, people don't want equality. They just want the power to now be the abusers, right? They want to make what they believe that are the abusers into the victims. So I think it's a bigger conversation, right? Where it's funny that you are surprised that there are abusers and victims, because it's a cycle. It's a cycle where people that were victims want to become the abusers, right? And I'm not saying that men are the abusers or women are the victims. No, I'm just saying what people perceived, right? So you wonder why people who have power abuse. Because again, when people gain power, they are abusive. Even if they're women, even if they're of a different race. So it's like, it's very, it's a deep conversation. But I'm just saying it's funny. It's funny.